Around the world with the He and She Show. With hosts, married stand-up comedians Doug and Teresa Wyckoff. With special guests sharing their tales and adventures. Now your hosts.
Hello!
So we have with us today a very special guest. Oh, by the way, I'm Doug, and you're Teresa.
Wait,
People
what?
get confused all the time.
What? No.
No, is that not?
That's backwards.
The He and She Show? Okay.
Oh.
We have another Doug with us today.
I'm Doug, you're Teresa, and he's Doug.
Doug Schneider. Thank you, Doug, for joining us.
You can call me Douglas if it's less confusing.
No, we'll just call you Doug.
We'll
Okay.
just call you Doug. There we go. I'm going to switch it up a little bit now that it's all on you.
The big D. Call you the big D.
Cool.
All right.
All right. So, Doug, you are an actor in New York City, living in Manhattan.
I am.
This cord is in the way. Wow. We've known you for how long now?
We've met, you guys came to my wedding in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So we met the fall before that. I believe it was November of 2014.
Yeah, it
So
was before Sundance, before Christmas, before the holidays.
about 6 years.
Yeah. Actually, that's a pretty funny story.
The shortest term amount of days that we were friends that got an invite to the wedding. So you guys win that category.
Wow, come on,
Friends
high
for
five that
5
one. Yeah.
We're winning.
Well,
We
it
won.
was pretty
We
crazy.
squeaked in on right under the line. We got the last friend invite.
So glad we made it, because it was a pretty epic wedding. Hey, is that like a wedding mug right there?
Yeah, that is your wedding photo.
I'm sure there's this is a wedding photo, actually.
Yeah. Aw.
It's myself and the missus, Jessica.
You never drink out of a coffee mug with my picture on it.
That's because we don't have any.
Yeah, you guys aren't in any of these pictures. It's
That would be awkward.
That's pretty cool. Thanks, Doug.
That's awesome. So when we met you and Jess, your wife, Jessica,
Yeah.
at a event, right? Like it was like a networking event
I think it was
or a party or.
a reading, not a reading. It was like a short theater one act festival in Manhattan.
Oh, yeah, we were in it.
Yeah, you were in it. You were tied up to a chair. I believe it's how I met you, tied up
In
to a
my
chair.
underwear.
Yeah,
That's awkward.
it was very awkward.
But that's right. I forget. I think you're the only people that we're friends with now that have ever seen that short
Really?
play that we were in. Yeah.
So honest review now that it's been 6 years, how did we do?
You
How
can be
did we do?
honest.
Honestly.
He
How-
honestly doesn't remember.
Question?
How did we do?
No, you guys were very convincing. I believe that you wanted to kill her, and then you had a later. I think that you had a change of heart at the end, and you didn't. You had her tied up in a chair.
Yeah, and he didn't do it.
But I didn't do it. Yeah.
You couldn't do it. Yeah, I was convinced.
That's like our day every day. At the beginning of the day, he really wants to kill me. And by the end, he just kind of changes his mind.
And then he realizes that you were the one.
Yeah, pretty much. We after that, we went to a party, and that's where we actually got to talk to both of you. And I
Yes.
think we were leaving to go to Utah for the holidays that next day or two.
Yeah.
And then you were going to be there for Sundance. So you invited us, and then we invited you to stay with us.
Yeah. 2 months later, you picked us up in Salt Lake City at midnight, and I was like, to Jessica.
We didn't even know each other.
You're like, do you know these guys?
I was half asleep. I didn't know where you were driving us. I couldn't see anything. We were in the mountains. I thought we were going to die.
Well, it was a missed opportunity on our part. But
Yeah.
anyway.
But we woke up in the mountains, and it was beautiful, and we became fast friends, and we're friends still. So
Yeah.
yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Fun weekend. Fun week that week.
Yeah. So awesome. Now you are an actor in New York. What kind of productions have you been involved with?
You might have seen him as Lincoln on Seth Meyers.
Yeah.
Yes.
He also plays Lincoln on Saturday Night Live.
Yes. He's on Saturday Night Live.
He's also in a new TV show series. He's got a speaking role in,
A reoccurring role.
what is it?
Oh yeah. There's a show on HBO.
We've been watching regularly.
Oh really? They're halfway through. It's called The Plot Against America.
Yeah.
and it's actually, I have the novel. It's a book. It's based on this novel. I don't know if I should show this symbol here, but there's the, and it's a best-selling novel by Philip Roth. And this book was written about 15 years ago. And David Simon and Ed Burns basically made this into a miniseries with John Turturro and Winona Ryder, and it's on Monday nights. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I didn't read the full book, but I got about 2/3 in. It's really good. You know what it's about, or should I?
Yeah, tell people what it's about, because it's really cool.
Well, basically, it's about Charles Lindbergh in a alternate reality type universe where he becomes the president in 1940, defeating FDR. So FDR loses in this reality his third term to America's hero. Well, he was thought of as America's hero, Charles Lindbergh. And a lot of the Jews were very fearful of this happening because he was, somewhat friendly with Hitler. And it's about fascism in America. And the title is kind of also ironically fitting to the times that we are in right now. And Philip Roth is a 9 or 10-year-old boy in the show, and it follows his family in Newark, New Jersey, and how they're dealing with everything that's going on in the early 1940s. And I'm in the last 2 episodes. I really can't get too much into my character without revealing like a plot line or like a major. It's an integral part to the story. I work with the main character's brother, Monty, played by David Krumholtz, and he's in. I come back. I was in last week, and now I'm coming back. Episode 5 and 6, April 13th and 20th.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a really good, very timely and creepily, like in a creepy way.
Yeah,
It's just almost too much. Because
it is very timely. It's like he had foresight 15 years ago to what was going to happen in 2015.
Well, they say if you don't remember history, if you don't study it, you're doomed to repeat it. And
that's so true.
Yeah. And I think that I always wondered how that happened, how Germany became a nationalistic Nazi country. And now I know.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I can see how it happened.
You wanted to know? Well, we'll show you. Here you go.
Yeah. It's just like substitute Russia now for Germany then, and replace this world leader with that world leader, and it's basically the same story.
You've also been on another one of my very favorite shows, Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Yeah, I was. It seems like so long ago. And at the time, I remember I was shooting in your old neighborhood in the East Village.
Yeah.
Right? I think I actually saw you that day.
You did.
I went to set. I don't know why I was over.
Self-tape. You guys were filming the self-tape.
Oh, right. So when Doug isn't doing the He and She show and traveling and touring with his lovely wife with their comedy act, he was a very permanent fixture in the self-taping world of Doug Schneider. He was like an amazing reader. He did accents. He acted out the parts. If it was a woman character, he got high up in that voice.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
One of the lines was like, "We're gonna light it on fire," or something like that.
We would do 20 or 30 takes sometimes until we got.
Yeah. But 3 years ago, I was in the last episode of season 1 of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Before anyone knew it was gonna blow up and explode into like what it is now. But yeah, I shot an episode. I was a bartender in one of the bars, and it wasn't the main Gaslight bar that they're in all the time. Yeah. I would have been very lucky to have been recurring in that bar. But yeah, I did one episode. It was like a quick one and done. I wasn't on again, unfortunately, but very grateful for that credit on my quick little piece on my resume on my reel.
How do you feel about the whole Abe Lincoln thing? That's kind of become like a niche role for you with the big NBC shows. You're like the go-to guy.
Yeah. Yeah, so I started doing that on Saturday Night Live, maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So they've always done an SNL for the last 45 years when the host would leave during the monologue, would leave the main stage and walk around the studio. They would always show an Abraham Lincoln character, or it was an actor dressed up as Lincoln backstage with a shepherd, a live llama, and two girls. That was the standard go-to fixture in the background when the host would.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to rewatch everything.
And one day they said, "Yeah, you Lincoln." Like, okay, so I did that like on and off for like 3 or 4 years, and then one day, I guess the casting director just referred me to Late Night with Seth Meyers. And they just contacted me, and it was a nice, it was a bump up in pay. I mean, it was, instead of like a few $100s, it was like close to $1,000. It was a principal role, and I got to hang out with Seth in the guest chair. But they had me looking like 5 times more like Lincoln than SNL ever did. SNL, I'm supposed to be an actor backstage, like in a Lincoln, but on the
put a hat on you on SNL, but.
Yeah, and then I stopped. I used to they used to have a wig on me, and they would shave me down, and then they would have this like sticky adhesive. It was the worst. So then I started growing my beard out, and I would just take out my $5 bill, and I would just shave it, and I would just darken it, and I looked 10 times more like Lincoln than they ever had me looking. It was pretty funny.
That's awesome. You had a long bit though that you did with him. That bit that you did was like a full scene.
Yeah, it was funny. I forgot the name of the bit, but I didn't even know I was going to be in a chair with him. He's like, I thought I was going to come up from behind him, but then there was no rehearsal. So when I get there, I'm just said, you know what, I'm going to wing it. They didn't give me any direction. I'm going to do what I want to do. But like basically, I just sat there and just wrote it out to the commercial.
You chose to do all that on your own. They didn't tell you or anything.
Yeah. But that all started from Saturday Night Live, doing that for the go-to Lincoln.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing background work and small parts and stuff on SNL?
Well, way back when, way back when, before I was even a union member, I used to do stand-in work a lot and background work. Once I got in the union, it changed a little bit. I was standing in a lot I mentioned John Turturro before. I was his stand-in on several movies, and I was only doing stand-in work because I didn't want to really be recognizable in the background, because I started auditioning more. So I wanted to take my career a little more seriously, but at the same time, the checks were good when you would stand in and you're a union member. But then once I was auditioning more, I started like putting all that behind me, except for SNL. That was the one gig that was just like a party on Saturday, and you're just hanging out, and it was no, like, I always would fear that it would hurt me, like if I'm auditioning, but that's one show where it's safe. Safe, complete safety to roam. So I've been doing that show now for about almost 10 years on and off.
Oh.
And it goes by fast because they're only working from September to May, and they're off now, unfortunately, for the rest of the season.
Yeah. So what was some of your favorite moments that you've had doing SNL?
Doing SNL. Wow, there's been a lot of them. Oh, well, okay, this is funny. I did Blue Bloods, season 5. I had a co-star role as Detective Walker. So now it's a few months later, and they're airing the episode. And where am I that night? I'm on SNL doing background, or I'm a cop, right? So now I have my role is demoted. I'm in a cop uniform. I'm with my buddy Scott. We're way up on the 17th floor of 30 Rock doing this sketch with Keenan and Martin Freeman when he hosted. And all of a sudden we had a long break. I'm like, Scott, I gotta watch my episode of Blue Bloods. So we ended up breaking into one of it may have been a writer's room or something. We got into this office, got to the TV. We're just hanging out, and all of a sudden I'm in my cop uniform doing SNL, watching myself on on CBS in season 5 of Blue Bloods. I'm like, if this isn't irony, I don't know what it is.
Like a surreal moment. It's like circular right there.
That's pretty cool. You also were a stormtrooper, weren't you, or something?
Oh yeah, I was a stormtrooper when maybe 3 or 4 times back when Adam Driver hosted. Whenever the last not the last Star Wars, but the one right before it in like 2016. It was a late night shoot, and so Lucasfilms was also there doing a lot of footage. And I actually made a lot of the outtakes with Lucasfilms that I found online than I did with the actual sketch for SNL. It was weird. They were like a big cafeteria, and the stormtroopers had to sit on one side, and the Imperial Guards had I forget what the whole joke. Oh, it was an undercover boss bit with Adam Driver, and then he has his helmet. You know, it's Kylo Ren, and he's takes his I forgot what his Darth. What is he? Just Kylo Ren, right?
Yeah, Kylo Ren.
So they didn't know that he was the Lord, or what he was. And then anyway, he's there, and he's like undercover, and all the other Imperial Guards are like, what's this dude with Matt? His name was Matt or something like that. And and Matt's trying to fit in. It was weird.
Really funny.
It is one of the better undercover boss ones that they've done. It's pretty funny.
It is really funny. I think they did the same kind of thing later, but
it didn't work as well as the first time.
Oh, okay.
So you are in Manhattan. What part of New York do you live in?
We are on the Upper West Side.
All right. And how have your experiences been the last few weeks?
At first, it was a little hard getting used to. I had surgery on my eye. It's completely unrelated to anything going on, but I went in for a routine. Well, it wasn't a routine check. I was having some blurriness and went into an ophthalmologist. They said I needed emergency eye surgery for my retina, and I feel like I've been at a huge handicap. Like right now, I don't feel as fearless as I used to be, because basically Jessica's been like my essential worker for the last 2 weeks, doing like everything. I'm gaining sight back right now. So, but I needed the surgery, so I'm taking this time just to heal. And I've been in with the exception of getting medicine, groceries, and much needed alcohol. The last couple of weeks, I've been inside though. Otherwise,
how is it in New York right now? Because it's in the news. It's like the epicenter for
the
virus.
States, yeah.
I haven't been on the subway in March, maybe since March like 9th or 10th, but it's been almost a month now. But we were going to Central Park, which is about 2 avenues east. But now they have these tents set up in Central Park, and there's people guarding them. So I don't know what's going on. If they're treating people inside, or I don't even want to think about what else could be going on. But just, we're hearing a lot of sirens going up and down, a lot of ambulances, but we're trying to just create our own normalcy in these like close quarters that we're living in.
Oh, I get that.
Right.
We understand the self-isolation in very close quarters.
Yeah. Every night.
For the RV.
Oh yeah. It looks pretty spacious though.
It's a full 200 square feet.
We got all the necessities. We got a bed, we got a couch, you got a bathroom and a kitchen. What else more? And a table. We're sitting at a kitchen table.
Sure.
That's true.
A lot of meditation. Jessica and I she's been more disciplined than I am, but we do the Deepak Chopra 21-day meditation challenge of abundance, and just trying to I really can't do anything physical with, like, I can't work out with my eye right now. But she's been working out. She's been exercising. What else do we do? We eat all our meals at home now. We try to get
for Manhattan. We probably have a bigger kitchen than most Manhattan apartments, honestly.
Oh yeah. Mine's about maybe like 10 feet by. It's kind of narrow. It's like you have to like go like this with your shoulders.
I'm telling you, if it wasn't for New York living, we probably would have had a harder time going into an RV. But honestly, it's only a little bit smaller than our apartment in the East Village.
Wow, it's a interesting comparison. Yeah,
It's probably it's maybe 100 square feet less than our apartment was in the East Village.
Yeah, which is definitely, you can tell the difference.
You can tell the difference, but
yeah,
helpful. Yeah. So have you know anyone that's gotten sick?
Yeah, several people. More people. I know a lot more people who say they think they probably had it, but it wasn't actually confirmed.
Yeah, because they weren't testing for a long time, people.
Yeah. So, a couple of my friends now have been fine for a couple of weeks, not 100% sure that they had it, but 99.9% sure they had it.
Mm-hmm.
And even if that's the case, it's still not conclusive that they had it. You know what I mean? So how do you really know unless you have everyone, just even if you're, and then there's people that are fine that may or may not be carrying something. Yeah. I was a couple months ago, Super Bowl weekend, I had all the symptoms that I'm hearing about now, but it lasted for 48 hours and Jessica didn't get anything from that. So I don't know what that was. That could have just been a flu. How about you guys?
They need to come up with a test so they can tell if somebody's got the antibodies for already having it. That's the next big thing we need. Because then once people have had it and you are supposedly immune to it, that's finger quotes I'm doing right now. Because I'm not sure. Anything that's said on the podcast is not factual. It's probably made up.
Well, I would say science.
Yeah, so whatever we say it's just a disclaimer. Don't take anything we say as anything 100%.
Don't take
true.
Any medicine that Doug says is the cure.
Yeah, don't take.
We'll just have Neil over in your neighbor Neil do in the edit. Just will make a quick little adjustment to the.
We can always clip it out in post for sure.
Yeah, we could totally do that. We won't, but we could.
We don't because we're too lazy.
But we could.
But we could do that.
It could be
but
done.
We're not going to.
Nope, never.
Yeah.
No. So.
Oh. We need to upgrade.
What? This is weird. I've never had this before. All right.
Is that 53 seconds or 9:53?
It's 9 minutes and 50 seconds.
I can't see.
What is with that?
I don't know.
They're charging us to upgrade?
They didn't used to do that.
I don't know.
It was because we had 3 or more people, maybe, because I was on it twice. We are definitely going to edit this out, right?
No, we don't have to.
Okay.
It's very interesting because this is Zoom. Everyone's using it.
Well, what we can do is I'll just send you another link once this runs out. Because for me to go through and do it, I feel like would take too long.
They're charging us for it. We don't want that, do we?
Oh, gosh, no, not what they're charging us. Okay, let's go back to.
So yeah, we may have to edit this out.
I did consecutive links also for something the other day, and it was the same ID number for both meetings for some reason. They were the same place.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll try it again once this. We still have like 9 minutes left, but so we also have some friends that have had it. My brother might have it. I think I can say that because he's posted it on the internet. He might have it. He did get tested, and he doesn't find out though for like another 5 days, I think, because it takes a long time to come back.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. Almost everyone that we know though that has it are all in people that we know in New York.
All in New York, wow.
Yeah, no one here in Los Angeles yet that we know has had it.
That's good.
That they know about it. We could have even had it and not know. That's the thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like a bad sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
A really bad one.
Have you been binge watching anything good during this time?
Yeah. Well, now I saw something, by the way, about HBO. There's a new HBO that's going to be free to anybody.
Yeah, they released a bunch of free stuff. I think if you go on it and you don't have an account, you can watch all the free streaming stuff.
Okay. I saw The Hunters on Amazon.
That's good.
With Al Pacino?
What's that?
With Al Pacino.
Yeah. It was I auditioned for one of those episodes, but I finished it. I didn't see the scene anywhere. So they cut it from whoever took it from me.
So you had the role, but they just cut it. It ended up on the floor.
Yeah. I saw that, and then there's this thing I started watching, The Tiger King.
Oh yeah.
Netflix. People are loving this Tiger King guy.
Yeah, it's intense. It's crazy.
Stephen Colbert, Stephen at Home now, Stephen Colbert, a late show with Stephen Colbert had him on his show, and then he was in prison, the guy. So I guess I just pretty much ruins a lot of Tiger King for myself. I guess he ends up in jail.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler.
There's a lot though that happens that you should still see it for.
Yeah, it's interesting though. Like, yeah, so I'm starting to watch that, and then I hear my brilliant friend, which is on right after the Plot Against America on Monday nights. It's supposed to be good. It's an Italian series that's all in subtitles called My Brilliant Friend.
We watched part of the first season, but someone couldn't get into it because it was all women, maybe.
Okay.
Misogyny. So we stopped watching it, but we'll probably restart because it looks really good.
Yeah.
And now that we've spent a lot of time in Italy, it's probably going to be more interesting.
Did you know that supposedly the Tiger King guy's got COVID too now? He's sick.
Really?
So what's your joke, Teresa?
Oh, my joke was, and this is maybe very mean, but it's the COVID's
brought us the Tiger King.
Brought us the Tiger King, and the COVID's taketh away the Tiger King, because everyone started watching Tiger King because of the quarantine. Really?
Wow.
Wow.
I know.
That was deep.
It's pretty brutal. I didn't really want to say it out loud, and now that I say it out loud, I kind of want to delete it from my Facebook where I posted it.
Time to cleanse.
With you guys, before we finish, I have a joke I want to share with you guys at the end. But
at the end, you can't do it now.
If you want, I could do it now.
And then if not, we're gonna edit this part out anyway. And
I just have to say, this isn't my joke. I heard it on Facebook. Brian Stokes Mitchell was walking, I guess, on his phone through Central Park, and he heard it from somebody, and he was cracking up. He's like, "This is the funniest thing I've ever heard." So I don't know who came up with this joke, but it goes like this: I used to cough to cover my farts, and now I fart to cover my cough.
Oh, that's good.
Every time I say it, it's like the litmus test for me. It's a funny joke or something. I just was, when I heard that joke, I was like, wow, that's an original. That's a George Carlin joke, if anything.
Yeah.
It's a time traveler's key significant moment joke, because that wouldn't be funny in 2019 at all.
Oh yeah.
In 2020. So time travelers can use that to tell what
when they come back.
Yeah.
What did you see? What did you see, man?
Is this pre-COVIDs or post-COVIDs?
Doug's actually a time traveler. We made a movie together, a short film where he played a time traveler.
Oh, right. Yes.
Time traveling HoboCop.
And that was the second time we met up in like Utah at Sundance, I believe.
Yeah.
It was right after the current administration's inauguration, I believe. That
it was.
Staying with you, and then I was like this hobo from Hoboken. Was I supposed to be?
Yeah, you were a hobo from Hoboken.
Then back in time to stop the election of 2016.
Yeah.
It was a great premise, and just the final product didn't match up to the hype. But anyway.
I feel like if you would have put a little bit more thought into it, then you guys literally decided as we were taking a walk to do it. And then by the end of the walk, Jessica and I like, what happened? And you filmed a movie.
It's talent.
That was not the most thought out project that either one of you have probably done.
Right.
All Sundance.
Ginger was in it too. There was a quick shot of her.
Yeah, there was a star. She's in the short film we just filmed here at the RV park.
She's actually in every film we've used.
Everything we've done. We did another short film that we did for a festival. It was like a scary movie festival kind of thing in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
And she wasn't supposed to be in it, but she kept running into all of the scenes that we had to write her in.
Yeah.
Because she couldn't, because like if I was running, she had to run. Like, all right, that's it.
She just after you.
She's a bigger star than either of us, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, I can see that.
Headshots.
She does. She does actually have headshots. She's a star.
Wow.
Yeah. We could probably make her a YouTube star if we had more.
But we don't want to be surpassed by her, so.
And it wouldn't take much.
No.
She would just need 13 followers, and she would surpass us.
She'd be done.
So.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. So what's next? Like, what are you planning on after this whole thing? Or can you even plan after this?
Yeah, everything shut down. The only I mean, other than your show, the only other shows that are really doing anything, that can do anything, are like the late night talk show hosts, like the Colberts and the Fallons and the Seth Meyers and Trevor Noah and Jimmy Kimmel. But I mean, all those interviews being done from home. I mean, I feel like if there's anything creative any actor can do right now in the comfort of their own home. I was just talking to Jessica about this. She has her own show, Betty Davis Ain't for Sissies, that she's been doing for 10 years. And she just went live last night.
We watched it, yeah.
Oh, you watched it. So I'm like, this morning, I'm like, why don't you try to reach out on Twitter? And that's how we got into the whole Twitter conversation, and try to plug, a late show with Stephen Colbert, late night with Seth Meyers. Because those are the only shows that are pretty much happening right now. And then I'm sure the daytime shows as well. I'm sure Ellen and Oprah are doing their own thing. But yeah, I'm just trying to wait this out, trying to promote what I got, trying to be ready. I have new pictures, to release onto the world.
Your post-COVID images?
Yeah, I mean, I had a big audition in New Orleans I flew down for the day before my eye surgery. And it was the day after I knew I needed the eye surgery. And I knew it was a big part. And I was like, what to do? And because I knew I couldn't fly after. So I'm like, I'm going to go for it. And literally from my doctor's appointment on a Tuesday, came home, grabbed my stuff, JFK, flew down to New Orleans to get there that night so I can audition the following day. Kicked ass. I was on a 6 p.m. flight that night, got back to New York at midnight to go into surgery 6 hours later. It was a crazy, I probably, looking back, should not have done it because Bourbon Street literally shut down. Yeah, they shut it down a couple of days after I left. So, Bourbon Street, you can say, was like a petri dish of this virus right now, especially on, it was a couple of weeks after Mardi Gras. Yeah, I was there for 24 hours, like right before my surgery. But that probably wasn't the smartest choice I made. But I feel like if, now that everything shut down, I'm glad I went, because I knew I wouldn't be able to fly back to meet with a director for a callback with my eye. I was even looking at Amtrak possible routes to take the train down.
No.
But yeah, that was, so there's that. And I'm hoping by the summer. I don't think it's going to be all cleared up until June or July with production.
There's some people saying much later even here in LA, but hopefully they're wrong. Hopefully they're just being careful. But I have friends that are still working, that work in post-production. Okay. So they're still working, and editors and stuff are still able to work from home sometimes even. And
well, I think I was talking to my friend who's an editor, and he's working for a guy who has 4 movies that are in post-production right now. Basically, they're being edited and finished. And he feels like he's in a really good position because there's not going to be any new movies coming out, for once you get them started in the pipeline or start the other ones back up. It takes months to get things finished. So, which is making me very upset about my shows that I like to watch every season, because they're going to get all pushed to the next
year.
Yeah,
like when are they going to actually be released? Like I watched the season finales of a few shows this year, and I was like, in the spring, and I'm like This Is Us. I love This Is Us. I'm like, they're not recording it anytime soon.
Yeah, it's true.
I do feel
July is usually when it picks back up again. When in the middle of a regular busy season. July is usually when everything, and then July is basically the first couple of episodes of whatever you're going to see in September, usually a couple of months ahead of time. So every day, every week, every month past July, you can now add that on to September for shows to start back up again, in the fall with the fall schedules and stuff. And then movies, it's another story.
Well, so if everything's good by July, then This Is Us, I can watch the season premiere when I'm supposed to, is what you're saying.
Yeah, possibly. There's a lot of shows, they wrap up now. This is when shows wrap up.
Yeah.
April, May. So as long as they're okay with, doing their season minus the 3 or 4 episodes extra that they could have had, now they'll all end at 18 episodes instead of 22.
Yeah, but that kind of ruins the stories usually because they build up to an end. Well, we have a good friend of ours who's a regular in a Netflix show that's really good, one of my favorites. But and it's one that I watch regularly. So they ended filming halfway through filming the next season. And I'm glad that they did it for their health. But that selfish part of me was like, but you got to get the rest of those episodes out. Come on, man.
Yes. You'll see some interesting rewrites now in the 4 episodes and blah 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 blah.
Exactly. Those last everybody's gonna come to do a last episode that has 4 weeks worth of content.
You're gonna have some really creative editors is what's gonna happen right now. They're gonna be like, can you make this end here?
Yeah.
You're like, why did everyone just stop right here?
They were filming a lot of shows I really liked that were in the middle of filming their next season, like For All Mankind and The Morning Show and all of those. A lot of the streaming shows were filming. But it is hard to see a lot of our friends that work in the industry that can't work at all.
Yeah, definitely.
So I have 5 questions that I ask everyone.
Sure.
So because this is Doug has to let the cat in. This is real life here. The cat's screaming. Yeah, he was just screaming.
Look what the dog dragged in.
Yeah. While you do that, I'll get
This is Brooklyn Bruce. He's from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn Bruce?
Brooklyn Bruce.
Bruce.
Yeah, you met him, right? In New York?
Yes. I'm from Brooklyn. And one of my nicknames way back was Bruce because people said I look like a young Bruce from the 70s, but
so you and our cat are basically
a
twins.
Random Bruce.
Yeah.
Random Bruce.
Random Bruce. Just some random Bruce. Bruce.
Bruce.
You look like
You're
Bruce.
a Brooklyn Bruce. Okay, that was one drunk.
Like a young Bruce Lee. Game of Death.
You don't pick your nicknames; they pick you.
That
right?
is true. They do that. So this is like a quarantine checkup. Okay, so there's a lot we can't control with our lives right now. What are some things that are in your control that you found that are still
Question
in your
number
control?
1.
Still in my control. Well, you can limit your exposure to people to stay safe, self-isolation. Most importantly, just breathing, not panicking. Just knowing everything eventually will be better. You can meditate to do that. Personal hygiene, self-care, that's definitely in your, and you don't want to not shower just to test your sense of smell to see if you might have symptoms. For those of you who are trying that, were you trying that too?
That's my method.
Yeah, but I shaved the other day. I'm like, wow, this feels so good.
Apparently, it was a while ago, though, buddy.
So breathing and personal hygiene, I would say, are 2 big ones. You could be doing it, control.
Yeah. And the second question, what lessons are you learning from this whole experience?
What lessons? I would say just not to take the simple liberties of life for granted. So I'm a New Yorker. I came back to New York 20 years ago. And in the last couple of years now, we're living so close to Central Park. And I don't usually walk through the park, but lately I've been going through the park, hanging out in the park, just enjoying nature. And that's something I kind of took for granted for a while. But yeah, just the simple things in life that we take for granted. Healthcare is something else, how very important that is, not just here, but universally. And just to slow down, basically for everyone, slow down overall. And I feel like we're learning how to slow down with the times that we're in.
Yeah, we all need to do it. We all should have done it, but now we're actually seeing how to do it by being forced to do it.
Yeah, especially, in fast-paced, New York, LA, everyone's on the go. So that's something that I've always kind of been a little on the, I mean, I'm a very fast-paced person, but I also like to just do nothing a lot. And I could find that very peaceful, but now even more so.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a really good thing.
All right. So question number 3, how am I using my time wisely while I'm in this stay-at-home situation?
I don't know about wisely, but just trying to create overall like normalcy by having a schedule. Like I said, I don't do it every morning because sometimes I just feel bummed out and I don't meditate with Jessica, who's in the other room. I try to just write just to keep my brain conscious flow of whatever's in my head, just to get it out on paper. I probably spend a lot of time now on the phone. I think I've been averaging about 2 to 3 hours on the phone, just talking like this with people like yourselves who I haven't seen in a long time, or that I haven't spoken to in a long time. So I've definitely learned to reconnect with people, and just checking in with people, like, so I'm glad we're connecting.
Yeah, I feel like I've talked to more people either on the phone or Zoom. Like we had a Zoom party yesterday. You had a Zoom party that you invited us to. That was really fun.
And I'll have another one on my birthday on April 10th. So we'll see you then.
So everyone's invited who's listening. Oh, wait.
And then one of the last questions, we're almost to the end. What better version of yourself do you see emerging from this time of quarantine or self-isolation?
Better version of, what was it? Myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see better. That's your answer right there.
Yeah, I'm going to have great eyesight. Hopefully, maybe I could obtain some, like the daredevil, super heightened senses. All of my other senses get heightened. Then I'll have a bow and I'll be on the roof and I'll just be listening for crime. But no, seriously, I always try to like help people whenever I can. One of my good friends' brother used to always say, "Do what you can, when you can, if you can, how you can." And that's always stuck with me. So going forward, I see myself coming out of this whole thing, trying to be even more aware of others' needs. And plus I've learned a lot of things, like in this business, especially the hard way, not having someone to tell me this and that. So I'm very aware of other actors who are starting out, and but just overall people in general. I always try to like do 2 or 3 kind gestures for people a day, whether it's holding a door open for somebody 6 feet away from you, which then would not constitute holding the door open for somebody if they're 6 feet. There is I want, just giving back more. The Actors Fund, I have to mention, has been amazing. They've been around for I don't know how many years, but they basically, they're not just for union actors, but just performers, people in the arts. They help. It's more structured for individuals in crises, not a national or global crisis pandemic like we're experiencing. But they're helping thousands of people a day with emergency assistance and grants, and they are able to do so from donations from people. So that's one thing I want to try to, on a monthly basis, on an annual basis, just try to give back more to the Actors Fund, because they're helping so many people out right now. They did so with Hurricane Sandy, after 9/11. They've been around forever, and yeah.
And people can find that to donate. We'll put the link to donate on the blog post that goes with this on our website.
Sure, actorsfund.org. And also, what was the question again?
Yeah, what better version of yourself do you see emerging after this time of quarantine?
Okay, yeah, just being a better person, still practicing self-care, helping people when they need it. Pretty much that's it, yeah. And then staying where I am, just being more at peace in my mind and body, and not being like all over the place like I usually am in New York. Just slowing down, more of that.
Awesome. And then the last question, after this is all over and they're like, COVID's gone, everyone could do what you normally did, if that's even a thing, but you can all leave. Where would you go? What's on your bucket list to travel to or visit or experience?
I would say my parents are in Pennsylvania, so I really don't think I can go there now until at least May, or maybe I'll get there for Father's Day. So I want to check in my parents. They're in PA. Maybe I'll come visit you guys in California.
Yeah.
I want to visit the hard hit. I want to go to these places that were hit hard, just to like say, everything is okay. Go to like Chicago, go to New Orleans. I have family in Italy that I checked in with not too long ago, and they're in Sorrento, and they're all okay. They're all doing fine. But Italy got hit really bad. So I want to go to Italy, and I love Italy, as do you too, I know. So yeah, Pennsylvania, just check in with the family first and foremost, check in with my close friends, and then I want to cross the pond.
That's awesome. Well, anything left that you want to talk about before we end? Wrap up.
Just saying thank you to all the essential workers, or policemen, or firemen, or doctors, or nurses, or EMTs, people at the grocery stores, or bus drivers, everyone that's doing what they are doing for others and not even being able to spend or see their own families. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Yes.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you for being on the show, on our show, the podcast, and we'll see you on your birthday, I guess.
Cool. The He and She Show, folks, right here.
Thanks for listening to Around the World with the He and She Show with your hosts, Doug and Teresa Wyckoff. If you like our show and want to know more, check out our website, theheandseshow.com. Support us by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us a positive review. Safe travels till we visit again next week.